Good morning. Good morning to each of you. I am Dr. Corrine Johnson, and I would like to welcome each of you on this morning to Grace for Today 5 Minute Devotional. This is the space where we gather each morning to jumpstart our day with inspiration, encouragement, and the grace we need to move forward. And on this morning, our subject is going to be the giants you'll face. And our key scripture is going to be coming from 1 Samuel chapter 17 and verse 47. And it says, "Everyone assembled here will know that the Lord rescues his people, but not with sword and spear. This is the Lord's battle, and he will give you to us." And so, before David fought Goliath, David actually had already fought three other giants. They were not necessarily physical giants, but they were just as big and intimidating as Goliath. And so we must understand that there's going to be some giants that you're going to have to fight in your life as well. And you're going to need to overcome these giants to fulfill God's plan for your life. And so David's first giant was delay. So the prophet Samuel anointed David as king, but then his father sent him back to tend to the sheep. Can you imagine how David must have felt? That's kind of like telling someone they're going to be the president and the CEO of a large company and then sending them back to the mail room. So our timing doesn't always align up with God's timing. This results in a waiting period in which we need to learn patience. You can defeat the giant of delay by trusting in God's timing, for he is never early and he's never late. So, discouragement was David's second giant because Goliath created a climate of fear in Israel. King Saul and the entire army had literally given up hope. Nobody had the courage to face Goliath. David showed up to bring some food to his brothers, and when he heard what was happening, he refused to give in to the fear that had plagued the army for 40 days. So fear looks at the size of your problem rather than the size of your God. You can defeat this giant by knowing that God is on your side. You don't have anything to fear this morning when God is on your side. The third giant that David was faced with was disapproval because his oldest brother Eliab made a brutal verbal attack against David. He challenged David's motives and his integrity. In his anger, he wouldn't even let David talk. David didn't let his brothers' disapproval keep him from fulfilling God's purpose. So I want to let you know this morning, whatever giants that you're facing, you can defeat the giant of disapproval by listening to who God says you are and not other people. And so there are going to be giants in your life. It may not be a physical giant, but those giants may be just as intimidating. But you can overcome the giants in your life once again when you listen to God and not other people. And so on this morning, we certainly thank God for each of you for tuning in and joining with us for Grace for Today 5-minute devotional. And it is my prayer that as you go forth on today, that you will go forth and have a blessed day.